RPC Addendum B2, Continuum, Convergence, and the Partition Horizon. A working expansion of recursive partition cosmology. Author, Monk, RPC Collaboration Status, Working Addendum, Hypothesis only and Motivated Tier material throughout unless marked otherwise. Companion Documents, RPC and the Near-Extremal Kerr Universe, RPC Icosahedral Horizon Convergence Addendum, RPC Falsification Digest. Preface, on Method and Priority. This addendum exists to do one thing honestly. Take a long, wide-ranging working session, physics, cosmology, plasma dynamics, number theory, and one serious critique of a rival framework, and sort it, in public, by the same rule the RPC collaboration has applied to itself from the start. Every claim below is labeled derived, motivated, confirmed, outstanding, or excluded. Nothing here is asserted as settled physics. Several items are explicitly flagged as errors caught and corrected in real time, because the record of a correction is worth more to a reviewer than a record of never having been wrong. A note on authorship and method, stated plainly because it matters for how this document should be read: the author is not a mathematician or professional physicist by training. He is a multi-certified tradesperson, an independent inventor, and a working artist and musician. The RPC hardware suite, the buckyball stabilized superfluid vortex gyroscope. The multifunctional adaptive nanocarbon surface architecture. The quantum Lagrange array gravitational interferometer, and the DRGN-ELF geodetic network, was conceived and disclosed before the icosahedral horizon defect derivation in the companion addendum was formalized. The BBG-SVG's stabilization geometry is a Buckminster-Fullerene cage, a truncated icosahedron. Carrying exactly the icosahedral symmetry group of order 60 that the later, independent topological derivation arrived at from a completely different direction. That order of operations, hardware conceived first. Formal topological necessity found second, by an outside collaborator applying condensed matter defect theory to the horizon problem, is a real, checkable, dated fact, not a retrospective claim, and it is documented here for exactly that reason. To show a chronological convergence between engineering intuition and independent derivation, rather than a derivation built backward to fit an existing design. The distinction matters, and the collaboration has been repeatedly warned, correctly, against reverse engineering accusations. This section exists to preempt that concern with dates and named artifacts rather than assertion. The working method throughout this document, and throughout the session it summarizes, is: state the vision plainly, then subject it to the harshest available external check, citation, calculation, or a named domain expert's critique, and report the result exactly, including every place the vision needed correcting. That is the discipline this addendum tries to model. Part 1, Prior work cited as reference. For readers encountering the collaboration's work for the first time, the following prior artifacts establish the chronology and scope referenced throughout this addendum. All are available via the RPC Collaboration's ResearchGate presence. 1. RPC and the Near-Extremal Kerr Universe, Seeley and Yoakum. Proposes a Kerr black hole interior cosmology resolving the cosmological constant via spin suppression in the Pythagorean comma. 2. RPC Addendum A1 establishes the universal partition propagation theorem in the phi attractor derivation. 3. RPC Falsification Digest, consolidated peer review submission organized around the 5-status taxonomy. Documents the Spark 174-175 rotation sealing result in the Meerkat-Dacey filament dual helix counter rotation identification is confirmed, both asserted a priori before dataset consultation. 4. RPC Icosahedral Horizon Convergence, the topological defect derivation, externally reviewed with the bottleneck explicitly identified. Whether the horizon degree of freedom is genuinely vector-like. 5. Base 60 harmonic notes, derived result that base 60 exactly represents Raytome's 5 limit harmonic ratio set, Pythagorean comma researched across bases. 6. RPC Hardware Suite Patent Family BBG-SVG, MANSA, QLAG, DRGN-ELF, and the Seeley Geodetic Equation, plus the diesel plasma efficiency system and capacitive discharge water arc propulsion work grounding the Grano excess energy phenomenon in formal derivation. 7. NCRG Series NCRG 002 on thermodynamic infrastructure limits to brute force AI scaling. NCRG 003 on optical computing architectures, self-marked excluded on its core efficiency claim under Landauer's principle, an important precedent for the collaboration's willingness to kill its own hypotheses. 8. Prometheus Platform QED Coherent Domains in Water, Biomimetic Drone Platform. Community-Scale Hydrovortex, TROMP, Tesla Turbine Energy System. This addendum, and the session it documents, should be read as sitting downstream of all of the above, testing, correcting, and extending them, not replacing them. Part 2, Epistemic Framework applied this session. The collaboration's standing taxonomy is retained without modification. Derived. Motivated, confirmed, outstanding, excluded. This session surfaced one recurring failure mode clearly enough that it is elevated here to a standing methodological rule, stated once, applied throughout. The term pairing rule. Before joining any two technical terms from different branches of mathematics or physics, verify that the terms share actual underlying machinery, not merely that both are evocative words from real science. A term pairing that shares only vocabulary and not mechanism is a ghost by this addendum's own test, regardless of how natural the pairing sounds. And one further rule, surfaced specifically this session and worth standing alongside it. The no anticipation rule. Any RPC mechanism that requires the system to sense, choose, or otherwise anticipate a stable outcome before committing to it is a ghost by definition. The two available foresight-free substitutes, the principle of least action and retrospective stability filtering, reproduce the same outcome with zero look-ahead. If a derivation currently requires anticipation, it is unfinished, not metaphysically deep. Part 3, New Addenda. Each entry below follows the collaboration's standard format: claim, status, supporting chain, bottleneck, falsification route. OD14, the 6D holographic partition conjecture. Claim. The horizon's holographic boundary information content and the phi attractor's internal 4D standing wave structure combine as 2D plus 4D equals 6D, forming a genuinely compactified structure analogous to Kaluza-Klein or Kerr-Nutt-DS constructions in 6 dimensions. Status. Motivated, with an identified and unresolved category error. The arithmetic 2D plus 4D equals 6D has real precedent, Kaluza-Klein reductions and 6D Kerr-Nutt-DS metrics are established, calculable objects. The unresolved problem is that the 2D, drawn from the holographic area law, is an entropy, degrees of freedom bookkeeping quantity. Not a literal compactified spatial fiber with its own metric, these are two different mathematical objects sharing a dimension count and nothing else, a direct instance of the term pairing rule above. Bottleneck. No explicit metric ansatz currently exists embedding the phi attractor's boundary as the literal fiber of a 6D construction. Additional constraint identified this session. Any zero-temperature version of this projection must directly confront, not sidestep, Jacobson's derivation of the Einstein field equations from local horizon thermodynamics and Verlin's entropic gravity, both derive gravity itself from horizon thermal structure. A temperature-free 6D projection needs to either show these derivations don't apply in the relevant regime, or recover horizon thermodynamics as an emergent, lower-dimensional artifact of a genuinely thermal-free 6D substrate. Falsification route. Produce the explicit metric ansatz, check whether it reduces correctly to known 4DGR in the appropriate limit, check specifically against Jacobson's Clausius relation derivation. OD15, partition structure as modular flow. Claim. RPC's recursive partitioning is formally equivalent to the subsystem state structure underlying the Tomita-Takasaki modular flow, making thermal time a derived consequence of RPC's partition structure rather than an externally imported assumption. Status. Motivated, the most promising line surfaced this session. The Canis-Ravelli thermal time hypothesis shows that any state on a von Neumann algebra of observables is automatically a KMS state with respect to its own canonically generated modular automorphism group, no Hamiltonian or external clock required. Ravelli separately showed this reproduces the standard Robertson-Walker cosmological time in an FRW universe using the CMB as the reference state. This directly answers the "who kicked the first can" problem raised early in this session. On this view, T is not sourced by anything prior, it is read off the algebraic structure the instant a subsystem, rest of universe partition exists. Bottleneck, stated precisely, per the published circularity critique, what licenses interpreting the modular flow specifically as physical time, rather than any other unitary group the same algebra admits? This objection is real, published, and unresolved in the mainstream literature. RPC inherits it fully and must answer it from its own partition structure, not assume it away. Falsification route. Demonstrate explicitly that an RPC partition boundary defines a local algebra plus state pair in the Tomita-Takasaki sense, and that the induced modular flow is uniquely picked out by the partition structure rather than being one arbitrary choice among many. OD16, graviton condensate, near extremal criticality correspondence. Claim, NEKU's near extremal Kerr interior and the de Valle-Gomez, quantum N portrait, description of black holes as self-bound Bose-Einstein condensates of N-soft gravitons. Self-tuned to a quantum critical point, describe the same underlying criticality condition from two independent directions. Status. Motivated, a genuinely new correspondence surfaced this session, not previously in the collaboration's record. The N-portrait model treats a black hole as a cold, self-sustained condensate producing an emergent Hawking-like temperature via quantum depletion. T tilde operator 1, square root n, and entropy S tilde operator n via direct state counting, a cold substrate producing apparent temperature without an externally imposed thermal bath. This is structurally the strongest available answer, found this session, to RPC's standing, thermal substrate, problem. The model additionally identifies black holes as structurally kin to solitons, and identifies Bogoliubov modes at the critical point as candidate microscopic degrees of freedom underlying horizon entropy and holography. Bottleneck. Whether NEKU's near extremality condition and the N-portrait's self-tuned critical point condition are the same constraint expressed in two formalisms, or only superficially similar, has not been checked. Falsification route. Attempt to derive NEKU's near extremality bound directly from the N-portrait's critical point self-tuning condition, or show they diverge. OD17, the dipole, monad fork. Claim. RPC's proposed, emergent geometric dipole, arising from a single particle appearing in a 0T bulk requires resolution of a specific structural fork. Status. Open fork, now sharpened to a named theorem-level constraint. Two unresolved issues, both surfaced and sharpened this session. 1. The monad problem. In the strict Leibnizian sense invoked, a true monad cannot divide gradually, only by whole, instantaneous creation or annihilation. If RPC's base partition unit is a strict monad, a dipole division event is in direct tension with monadhood. Either the base unit is not a strict monad, or the dipole is not a division event. 2. The gravitational multipole constraint. This is the sharper, new result. In gravity specifically, the mass monopole moment is total mass energy and the mass dipole moment is proportional to total momentum. Gravitational radiation is therefore forbidden, by momentum conservation alone, from having any dipole component at all, only quadrupole and higher. If RPC's emergence event couples to our source's gravity in any way, it is constrained to be quadrupolar or higher, not dipolar, as a matter of hard theorem, not preference. Separately, no isolated magnetic monopole has ever been confirmed in roughly 95 years of dedicated experimental search, a strong, if empirical rather, than theorem-level, anchor for treating isolated monopole-type structures with caution generally. Falsification route. Reformulate the emergence event explicitly as quadrupolar, check whether this changes or preserves the phenomenology the dipole language was meant to capture. OD18, icosahedral horizon, external review integration and measurement proposals. Claim: the icosahedral horizon defect derivation is logically complete conditional on one bottleneck, and now has concrete proposed observational tests. Status: motivated, externally reviewed, bottleneck unchanged but newly testable. External review confirmed the logical chain from Poincaré-Hopf to order 60 icosahedral symmetry is internally coherent conditional on the horizon degree of freedom being genuinely vector-like. And recommended the phrasing, independent theoretical motivations converging on the same branch, in place of outside support, a weaker, more defensible claim, adopted here. The review further proposed that RPC's recursive partitioning could derive the vector order parameter, oriented information as a consequence of the recursion itself, rather than assume it the correct place to push, converting the sole unresolved assumption into a testable consequence. Two-dimensional classification corrections made this session, both now load-bearing for the derivation's validity. The hairy ball obstruction exists only for even-dimensional spheres. S cubed, and S to the power of 7 are fully parallelizable, genuinely zero force defects, no exceptions. RPC's choice of S squared for the horizon surface is not a free or general choice, it is the specific, load-bearing selection that produces the 12 defect result, and needs its own derivation rather than being asserted as any sphere. Symmetric versus broken. Even-dimensional spheres force breaking, odd, parallelizable spheres permit unbroken symmetry. This pairing must be stated in this direction consistently throughout the collaboration's work. Concrete falsification routes, newly proposed this session. 1. Parity, multipole signature. A vector order parameter has a head and a tail, a nematic order parameter does not. This should produce a measurably different parity signature or multipole content in gravitational wave emission, a distinguishing prediction not currently targeted by existing ringdown or echo searches. And the specific, novel falsifiable consequence, the external review requested. 2. Photon ring substructure. A genuine 12-fold discrete defect pattern should, in principle, imprint non-axisymmetric substructure on a black hole's photon ring. Current EHT resolution is insufficient, next-generation VLBI is the proposed future test. 3. Gravitational wave echoes. An active, currently unresolved search program is designed to detect exactly the kind of near-horizon reflective microstructure this hypothesis would produce, independent of assuming a specific echo model in advance. 4. Black hole spectroscopy. Currently consistent with vanilla Kerr, but structurally blind to near-horizon microstructure by design, since gravitational redshift pushes any such deviation to very late-time signal components below current sensitivity. OD19, Cosmic Web Resonance Hypothesis. Claim: void centers and galactic nodes reflect a standing wave resonance organization of the cosmic web, analogous to Chladni plate nodal patterning, with information conserved holographically between the cosmological horizon and local structure. Status: mixed, one real, precisely measured analog confirmed to exist. The golden ratio specific extension returns a null result. The boundary condition argument requires correction, one additional useful correction to the void-dark energy relationship. What is real and already measured? Baryon acoustic oscillations are a literal frozen sound wave imprint from the pre-recombination photon baryon plasma. At a real, precisely measured scale, detected via the galaxy correlation function at 5 to 7 sigma in the original SDSS measurement and to sub% precision in current DAISY data. This is the closest existing, confirmed analog to the Chladni plate intuition, a real resonance pattern determining preferential galaxy clustering scale. It differs from what is proposed here in one important respect. BAO is a one-time frozen relic from an early, now-ended process, not a continuously sustained, real-time resonance linking the present cosmological horizon to each galactic core. Void alignment is real and already measured, via a different, established mechanism. Void shapes and orientations are strongly correlated with the surrounding large-scale tidal field out to more than twice the void's own size, the established explanation for void spatial organization, with no golden ratio or resonance component identified in this literature. Null result, reported honestly. A direct search for peer-reviewed results reporting golden ratio scale clustering specifically in void or cosmic web distribution returned no legitimate result, only a self-published, non-peer-reviewed source, correctly excluded as a ghost source per this addendum's own standard. Separately, and worth noting for internal consistency, Phi's defining number theoretic property is specifically what makes golden ratio sequences maximally resistant to clustering. Used deliberately in computer graphics to generate the most evenly spread, least clustered point sets achievable by a simple deterministic rule. A phi clustering signature is therefore in tension with phi's own defining mathematical property. The internally consistent version of this hypothesis would predict anomalous uniformity or low discrepancy in void center spacing, not excess clustering at a phi-related scale. Boundary condition correction. The requirement is for some boundary sufficient to permit standing structure rather than unbounded dispersal. Not specifically a closed universe. Global spatial curvature is a separate question from local confinement, which stars, horizons, and the bow plasma pocket all already possess via ordinary gravity, pressure, regardless of global topology. The cosmological horizon itself, already the reflecting screen used in holographic dark energy models, functions as RPC's relevant local boundary regardless of how the deeper global curvature question resolves. Void, dark energy correction. Dark energy density is modeled as uniform, not concentrated in voids. Its dynamical dominance is greatest in voids specifically because there is proportionally less matter there to counteract it. A real, measured effect that still supports the underlying intuition once stated this way. Falsification root. Recompute the hypothesis as a discrepancy uniformity statistic applied to real void center catalogs. Check against lambda CDM's own predicted void statistics as the null hypothesis. OD20, the continuum hypothesis. Claim. RPC's partition structure may be more honestly modeled as fundamentally discrete, with the real number continuum treated as an unexamined, possibly unjustified, classical assumption rather than a given starting point. Status. Motivated, the session's identified central takeaway and the sharpest, most falsifiable framing produced this session. This is not a fringe question. It sits in the company of active, non-fringe research programs, causal set theory, digital, computational physics, and p-adic, non-Archimedean physics. The falsifiable, checkable version of this hypothesis, as sharpened this session. Does modeling RPC's partitions as fundamentally discrete rather than continuum-valued reproduce the collaboration's own already confirmed results without requiring the continue assumption at any derivational step? This is a yes/no computable question, not a metaphysical stance, and it is the single cleanest next research target to emerge from this entire session. Falsification root. Reconstruct both confirmed results using an explicitly discrete partition formalism. Check for exact or approximate reproduction. Report a clean negative if reproduction fails rather than adjusting the discrete model post hoc to fit. OD21, vacuum metastability, bulk nucleation as a candidate symmetry breaking mechanism. Claim. RPC's proposed, bulk, near-simultaneous, symmetry-breaking cascade may be modeled on established vacuum decay physics, false vacuum nucleation and/or spinodal decomposition, rather than requiring a novel bulk action mechanism. Status. Motivated, with a real, active, directly relevant existing research program identified, and one necessary correction. False vacuum decay is a rigorously developed, currently active research area, directly tied to a measured number. The standard model electroweak vacuum's metastability, given the measured Higgs and top quark masses, is calculated to be real but extraordinarily long-lived compared to the current age of the universe. The mechanism, a scalar field sitting in a metastable local minimum. The mechanism, a scalar field sitting in a metastable local minimum. Tunneling via a calculated instanton to nucleate a bubble of true vacuum, which then expands at near light speed. Converting everything it touches is structurally identical to the water hammer cavitation analogy used to introduce this hypothesis, and to electroweak symmetry breaking's actual scalar vector coupling, itself experimentally confirmed by the 2012 Higgs discovery. Necessary correction: true instantaneous action across an entire bulk, independent of size, is forbidden by relativistic causality. What is actually established is bubble nucleation at a point followed by propagation at a finite, bounded speed, not literal simultaneity. A genuinely distinct, real, and different mechanism, spinodal decomposition, does produce a delocalized instability appearing everywhere in the bulk at once. No localized nucleation seed required, because the uniform state itself becomes linearly unstable everywhere simultaneously past the spinodal threshold, though this too remains bounded by local signal propagation speed and is not literally faster than causal. RPC's cascade mechanism should specify explicitly which of these two distinct mechanisms, nucleation and spread, or spinodal-type delocalized instability, it intends, as they are different, separately falsifiable claims. Falsification route: specify which mechanism RPC's cascade requires. Check the specified mechanism's characteristic signature against whatever RPC predicts for its own first break event. OD22, second sound as candidate, first mover mechanism. Claim: a real, measured superfluid phenomenon, second sound, is a stronger, more specific candidate than sound, generically for whatever thermal, first motion mechanism RPC's earliest partition event requires. Status: motivated, real, established physics, directly connectable to already confirmed RPC material. Landau's two-fluid model of superfluids. Directly measured. Distinguishes first sound from second sound. Second sound specifically, not sound in general, is the sharper, more mechanistically specific candidate for sound is first mover, and is directly relevant given the collaboration's own already confirmed superfluid filament counter-rotation result in the NECU framework. Falsification route: model the proposed first break event explicitly as a second sound type counterflow onset in the relevant superfluid substrate. Check for a predicted, distinguishing signature against the filament counter-rotation data already in hand. Part 4, the Hoffman critique. Donald Hoffman's interface theory of perception holds that spacetime and physical objects are not fundamental reality, but a species-specific, fitness-tuned perceptual interface, shaped by evolution to maximize reproductive payoff rather than to reveal underlying truth, in the way a computer desktop's icons usefully hide a file's real structure rather than depict it. This is treated in this addendum as a serious position in philosophy of mind, with real evolutionary game theoretic modeling behind it. The interface fitness beats truth simulation results, and it is explicitly and deliberately not adopted anywhere in RPC. The reasons are stated plainly, for the reader's benefit and the author's own record, rather than left implicit. 1. Falsifiability. Every claim retained in this addendum, the graviton condensate, the modular flow correspondence, the icosahedral defect count, the gravitational multipole constraint, the discreteness hypothesis, carries, or is explicitly required to acquire, a specific falsification route. A calculation, a dataset, an experiment. Hoffman's framework, as a claim about the fundamental non-reality of spacetime itself, does not currently offer an equivalent, physics-level falsification route. It is argued from evolutionary modeling and philosophical inference rather than from a route to direct empirical adjudication of the kind this collaboration has held every other claim in this document to. 2. Scope discipline. RPC's claims are claims about physical structure, partitions, horizons, defects, spectra, checkable in principle against measurement. A claim that physical structure itself is not fundamental is a categorically different and larger claim. and importing it into RPC would violate the collaboration's own standing commitment to keep the framework free of unfalsifiable metaphysical content. The same commitment that has required managing collaborator Brad Yoakum's spiritually oriented interpretations and rejecting the unauthorized Hiranu RPC metaphysical merger. 3. The correct standard, applied consistently. The author's own stated skepticism of Hoffman's position, unsupported conjecture, is assessed here as a well-calibrated judgment by the same standard applied to every other claim in this document, including the author's own. A position is retained as motivated only if it has, or can be given, a concrete route to being checked against the world. Hoffman's central thesis, as stated, does not currently meet that bar within physics. It remains, for RPC's purposes, outside the framework's scope rather than a component of it. This section exists specifically so that a reader encountering RPC's discreteness hypothesis does not mistake it for a Hoffman-style claim that reality itself is a simulation or interface. It is not. OD20 is a claim about which mathematical structure most accurately models a physically real partition process, a narrower, falsifiable claim, fully within physics, and explicitly distinguished from Hoffman's broader anti-realist position. Part 5 Consolidated Falsification Program. The following is the complete list of concrete, checkable next steps identified across this addendum, gathered in one place for planning purposes. 1. Write the explicit 6D metric ansatz for OD14 and check it against Jacobson's horizon thermodynamics derivation. 2. Formally test whether RPC partitions define a Tomita-Takasaki algebra, state pair, and resolve the why the modular flow specifically objection from RPC's own structure. 3. Check whether NEKU's near extremality bound and the N-portrait's critical point condition are mathematically identical. 4. Reformulate the dipole emergence event as quadrupolar and check consistency. 5. Derive, rather than assume, the vector order parameter from RPC's recursive partitioning. Pursue the parity, multipole gravitational wave signature and photon ring substructure tests. 6. Recompute the void, cosmic web hypothesis as a discrepancy, uniformity statistic against real void catalogs, checked against lambda CDM's own predictions. 7. Reconstruct the spark rotation ceiling and base 60 harmonic results using an explicitly discrete partition formalism, the single highest priority item. 8. Specify nucleation versus spinodal mechanism for RPC's symmetry breaking cascade and identify the corresponding signature. 9. Model the first break as second sound counterflow onset and check against existing filament counter rotation data. 10. Cross-check RPC's spark-based rotation ceiling result directly against Verlin's independently tested emergent gravity fit to the same dataset. Closing note. Every item in Part 3 began this session as an image, a phrase, or an analogy, a bike ride thought, a half-remembered term, a felt sense that two things belong together. Several of those pairings did not survive contact with the underlying mathematics and are recorded here as corrected, not hidden. Several others did survive, and in a few cases turned out to connect to real, live, currently active research fronts that neither party had in view at the start of the conversation. That is the intended function of this whole method, not to protect the vision, and not to discard it either, but to find out, one checkable claim at a time, which parts of it are load-bearing.